Hey there, Eric Gall here, family member and family coach. And I want to share this story with you today. Over a 2 year period, starting back in 2018, I was working as a family coach with a group of 8 families that were all really focused, and their goal was to support their loved one with a developmental disability to move out of mom and dad's place for the very first time and to move into a home of their own. And over a 2 year process, I worked with each of these families, and I worked with these families as a group to move in that direction. So we started off by creating an individualized plan with each individual, and thinking through with the individual and the family, and thinking through, well, what would be absolutely best. And we also met together as a group of families to talk about kind of our next steps and progress, and how each family was individually doing, and kind of stayed connected as a group. And in the beginning, it was a little bit of slow going, right? Because there was a lot to figure out. We were building these plans and visions and trying to figure out what would be best for each individual. And when it came down to it, each of the individuals had their plans. Each of the people had their plans, and it was go time, right? It was okay. Like, we've got the kind of resources figured out, the supports figured out. We need to, it's action time, and it was really hard, right? Because we had to get outside of our comfort zones. Our families had to get outside of their comfort zones. And that's really hard, right? My family experienced that as well. And what happened was, one family took a leap of faith. They took a step forward, and they took a lease out on a 1-bedroom, or maybe it was a 2-bedroom apartment, and that was a huge step. Right? That was a huge step for that family, but an even bigger step for the group of families. And what was really interesting was that shortly after that family took that step and supported their loved one with renting that apartment, very quickly, within, I would say 2 to 4 months, all of the other remaining 7 families took that same step of moving forward and renting a place, right? Most people were renting, so they took that step forward. And why did it happen so quickly after the first family went forward? Well, it was because there was a belief that, okay, like, that family took that step forward, so can we. We can do it too, right? You can see the possibilities for your family, for your loved one, when you're in conversation with another family that may be just one step ahead, or is taking that action that you wanted to take, or that you want with your loved one, or that your loved one wants, right? So this is really the power of families, and the power of families being connected together in conversation, right? Super, super powerful. And it's a lot easier to be taking steps forward, to be doing planning, to have conversations with other families. Really helps with taking those small steps forward, right? Because you have the continued motivation, you have the inspiration of other families. And I see this with the families that I work with virtually as well. So I work with groups of families in my Plan My Future coaching program, which is more of a course format, and an EA club, which is a membership, and I offer some free workshops. So I notice the same phenomenon happening with the groups of families that I work with online as well. So it's really hard to take steps and make progress alone, right? Because we can feel like we're on this island, and we might not know what's possible. We don't have the inspiration and the support and the cheerleading of others kind of pushing us forward, maybe others that have already taken that step and might be able to provide their experiences, right? So we can, when we're in a group of families together, whether it's in person or virtually is really the best option right now because we're in a pandemic. Eventually we'll be able to go back to more in person, but this works virtually, right? And we can feed off each other's motivations. And one of the things that we practice within the groups that I coach and lead is sharing wins, right? Over this last week, like what's a win that you've had? What's a small step that you've taken, right? And then we all keep feeding off those wins. So you can do this within your own family, right? Like a practice of, what's the small step we took forward this week, but super effective with the families that I'm coaching together. So if you're not connected in with a group of families that are taking those steps forward, and there's that momentum that the group has or that individuals have and steps that are being taken, then you might be thinking like, Eric, how can I participate in that? Like that sounds good, but what do I do? So what you can do is I'm holding a free online masterclass coming up February 24th and 25th in the evenings. And really, it's going to be all about learning the foundations of building a plan with your loved one. And I'm going to teach you these foundations really in about 4 hours. So it's really going to be a intense 4 hours of helping you to start to learn what's this path forward and how can you take those steps forward, all in a group of families and connecting with other groups of families, right? So I know in many workshops or webinars, resources, you're kind of getting bits and pieces, right? Of, okay, this could be a bit of the solution, this could be a bit of the solution. But I really support families to look at the whole picture and to give you the whole process in a step-by-step manner. So I'd love it if you joined in the free masterclass workshop coming up February 24th, 25th, and experience the power of family. So you can sign up and register below. There's a link below that you can register for the free masterclass workshop. I'm Eric Gall. Together, let's take a step forward.